The third night of the USA Swimming Olympic Trials filled the Century League Center with a collection of dreams come true. Welcome to Deck Pass Live, presented by AT&T. Olympic veterans like Katie Ledecky and Connor Dwyer will be adding another Olympic Games to the resume, and Michael Phelps will most likely be joining the Olympic team after tonight's 200 fly final. But the 2016 team is already filling up with some very impressive first-timers. Good morning, I'm Caitlin Sandino, and joining me here on our deck is our racing reporter, Carolyn Joyce. Thanks for joining us on Deck Pass Live, presented by AT&T. All right, Carol, let's just get right into it. Last night was impressive. This atmosphere was electric. 4 really, really fast, incredible swims, and 4 swimmers that are first-time Olympians.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a great night, starting out with the women's 200 free semifinal. We didn't have any surprises there, really, with Katie Ledecky, having a commanding lead over the field, Leah Smith in second. I think it's shaping up to be a really good final for tonight. We see Missy Franklin sneaking in there as well. She's going to punch her ticket. Excuse me. She'll be punching her ticket tonight for her first event at the Rio Olympics.
So 8 girls in finals tonight. Most times, 6 of them who head over to Rio. I think we could have a really strong relay with these girls' 800 freestyle relay. Speaking of 800 freestyle relay, let's talk about the men's 200 free final.
Men's 200 free final. It came down to the touch. It was a dogfight with Townley Haas, Connor Dwyer, and Jack Conger. Townley, our short course yards American record holder, coming out for the win. So I think this is just the beginning for Townley. We're going to see some great swims out of him this summer. Dwyer, his second individual event, and Lochte on that relay.
So the women's 100 backstroke might have been a little bit of a surprise for some fans out there.
Women's 100 backstroke was a changing of the guard. We saw Franklin and Coughlin out, Smoliga and Baker in. 2 young girls really hungry for that first Olympic team for them. So that'll be a great duo to send to Rio and have on those relays.
I got to interview Olivia last night after a race, and you could just tell just pure excitement.
Elation.
Just so happy to be there. Speaking about being happy to be there, Ryan Murphy qualifying first in the men's 100 backstroke final.
Yeah, Murphy and Plummer going 1-2 in the men's 100 backstroke. We saw Olympic champion Grievers in third. I know that was a disappointment for a lot of people, but we're going to see more of Grievers. He'll be in the 100 freestyle and the 200 backstroke later this meet.
Women's 100-meter breaststroke. And again, another teenager making the team last night.
Yeah, 19-year-old Lily King coming out with the win. 25-year-old Katie Miley making her first Olympic team in second. King with a 105 low. That swim right there will be good enough to podium in Rio.
All right, let's just get to it. This is where people are going to be so excited for tonight, the men's 200 fly semifinals.
Yeah, Michael Phelps taking a commanding lead from the beginning. He's about a decade older than most of the guys that he's racing, but as you can see here, it does not matter to him.
And people were saying he wasn't even happy after that swim. He was upset with his turns. He was like,
He's a perfectionist, though. This is why he's the greatest of all time. We're going to see a faster and better swim out of Michael tonight. He's just going to get better as this meet goes.
He's definitely going to put on a show for this amazing arena tonight. All right, speaking of this arena, the building was rocking last night, and we still aren't halfway through the 2016 trials. Kara, let's talk about what we have coming up this morning. We have Nathan Adrian. He would love to have the opportunity to repeat as Olympic champion in the 100 freestyle, but he has some very talented guys he's got to go up against first.
Yeah. I would say Nathan Adrian has been extremely consistent over the last 4 years since winning this event in London.
Right.
He is my absolute top favorite. Another guy to look out for is going to be Caleb Dressel. He's coming off a really great NCAA's. He's a swimmer for Florida, sprinter for Florida. We actually saw him warming up behind us just a couple minutes ago. And then rounding out that field, we have Lochte in this event, veteran Anthony Irvin from the 2000 Olympic Games.
I think Anthony's the oldest swimmer here now.
Yeah, I can believe that. And then we'll see Grievers. But, the thing about the sprint events at this meet, it really is a waiting game. So people like Nathan Adrian, who doesn't swim up to the 200, we're on day 4 and he's just getting started. And we're going to talk about that tomorrow as well with the women who will start their 100 free, somebody like Madison Kennedy. So half the battle for sprinters at this meet, I think, is playing that waiting game.
So the women are up next, and we have Kelsey Worrell, who might just be able to add the 200 fly to her lineup after she's already qualified in the 100 fly.
Yeah, Kelsey, known a little bit more for her speed. We could definitely see her double up in this 200 fly, though. And then we have veteran Camille Adams. Camille was a finalist in the London Olympics in this event, also been very consistent, very strong over the last 4 years. And then Georgia swimmer Hallie Flickinger. We talked to Jack Bowerly last night. That team has just been picking up momentum as each day goes, so I wouldn't count out any of those girls.
And finally, the 200 breaststroke, which might be another matchup between Cody Miller and Kevin Cordes. What do you think?
Yeah, Cody Miller and Kevin Cordes both finished 1-2 in the 100 breaststroke a couple nights ago. They're actually going to be swimming side by side this morning, so we're going to see several great races as they advance from prelims to semifinals to finals tomorrow night.
All right, Kara, a lot of fast swimming to look forward to. As always, thank you for being here.
My pleasure.
Don't forget, Carolyn will be back this evening with Ariana Kukers on lane 9. And we all want to hear from you, so send us your questions at #DeckPassLive. Time now to take a look at our daily analytical look from World of Swimming Russell Mark.
Take your mark.
The freestyle recovery is arguably the most recognizable and iconic pose in swimming, seen in countless of pictures and videos. It's often described as a high elbow because of what we see when we watch the stroke from the side. A view of the recovery from the front, however, gives the complete story of the motion. The hand swings around the side, wider than the elbow, and the arm forms a triangle with the surface of the water midway through the recovery. This wide swing of the arm enables the recovery to be relaxed, while also effectively throwing the arm forward and minimizing the risk of shoulder injury from this motion. At the end of the recovery, aim at entering the hands in front of the shoulder, not too narrow. These simple focus points will give you that picture-perfect recovery.
The swimmers and coaches are warming up behind me, and the doors have just opened, so some fans are already headed to their seats. Here at the desk, I'm joined by Olympic legend Dara Torres with 5 Olympic Games and 12 medals to show she's simply a swimming goddess. Dara,
right.
welcome to the show.
Thanks, Caitlin. Thanks for having me.
All right, guys, are you ready for this? 84, 88, 92, 2000. Let's take a little bit of time off. 2008.
Yes.
Sarah, do you even know, do you take a step back and be like, oh, I was the first U.S. swimmer that qualified for 5 Olympics. Does that sink in? Does that still surreal? Or you're like, yeah, I know I did that.
I actually didn't know I did that, so thank you for telling me.
First one right here.
Yeah. No, I'm the type of person that always looks forward, and it's nice to know that I had the longevity in the sport. But, it was just a fun experience. It was a wonderful lifetime of swimming that I've had, and it's nice sort of to move on to the next chapter of my life. But I'm really the type of person that just goes from day to day. I don't think back on everything that I've done.
All right, well, I'm going to have you think back a little bit
Okay.
for me. Do you remember your first Olympic trials race?
I do. Indianapolis, 100 freestyle. They didn't have the 50 back then.
Really?
Yeah, you were too young to know that. Were you born in 84 yet? No,
83.
probably. 83, okay. So you were 1, so you probably don't remember this. But yeah, they didn't have a 50, and the 100 was the event I had to swim, which isn't my best event, the 50 is.
Okay.
And I placed 4th at the trials and just made the relay team. So it was very exciting.
So Carolyn talked earlier about the sprinters having to wait later in the program,
Yes.
day 4, day 5, day 6. Tell our audience what's that like? I mean, you can feel the energy on the pool deck right now, and this is just warm up. Imagine coming to finals and you're just sitting there, I want to race. What's that like as a sprinter, having to wait so long to get up on the blocks?
Well, what I would try to do is not get to trials too early, because
Right.
my events were always the last 4 days. So I would get here maybe 2 days before I had to swim, because if you're here waiting and the anticipation of wanting to swim, by the time you swim, you're like, oh, okay, I have to swim now, you know? So
Right.
you want to keep the excitement going and try to get here a little closer to when you have to swim.
So Olympic trials or Olympics, what's more stressful?
Definitely the Olympic trials. And I think it's because there are so many unbelievable swimmers here that it's so hard to qualify compared to the Olympic Games. Getting in the top 8 isn't, at least back when I swam, wasn't as hard. I know it's much harder now, but it's definitely more pressure at the Olympic trials.
All right, so let's have a little fun.
Okay.
I enjoy my
I like
fashion.
fun. Yes.
And
Obviously, I'm not enjoying my fashion right now. Sorry. Just woke up.
But you've seen the sport evolve.
Yes.
And one of the biggest things that you've seen evolve are the bathing suits. We have some really cool pictures of all the suits that you've been through. Kind
Oh,
of talk
geez.
us through what was your first bathing suit like? Talk about the differences in the technology with your bathing suits, and just kind of talk us about all these different, let's call them styles.
Styles, yeah,
Swimsuit
that's a nice, yeah.
styles.
Technology has definitely evolved over the years. My first suit was an arena suit, and the less suit, the better.
Yes.
So, and that was because, oh my gosh,
love
look at
that
that. That was in 2000. Oh God, it's getting worse and worse. You
No,
guys
it's
are going
getting
back
better,
in
it's getting
time.
better.
No, but yeah, that was an aquablade in 2000. But in 1984, the swimsuit material wasn't faster than your skin. So you'd go and get a
Wow.
massage and have the oil on your skin and have really not that much swimsuit on and dive in and swim. And obviously that's evolved over the years because the technology of the swimsuits, the material is faster than your skin. So the more material you have, the faster you go.
I just think it's mind blowing. Like people are, why are swimmers getting so much faster? I'm like the technology, the bathing suits. There's just so much more that goes into it, and you've just seen the course of it all between the nutrition, the massages,
Right.
what you're doing outside of the pool. What do you think is the biggest difference that you've seen as far as the way people are training differently?
I don't think they're pounding the yardage quite as much as they
Right.
used to, which I wish that I had that
Yeah.
when I was younger. I remember going 7,000 a workout as a sprinter, and I don't even want to. Yeah, you probably did a lot more than I did, but I think that they're realizing that you don't need to pound the yardage. That it's more about being efficient and knowing the stroke and just doing what you need to do. Also, a lot of dryland training is important now.
Right.
I don't think they did as much dryland training back in the old days.
So we've talked about, you are more than a veteran. You're so accomplished. We have so many young swimmers that have already made this team. I think they said 17 out of 22 of them
Amazing.
are first timers. What is your advice to these swimmers that are going to the very first Olympics?
It's very nerve-wracking, but the way I try to explain it, I know you're probably too young for this, but there was a movie called Hoosiers,
Oh, right.
and Gene Hackman was the basketball coach for a young high school team, and they made it to the state championships, and he tried to explain to them, he took a measuring tape and he measured the length of the basketball court and the height and said, look, this is just like in our high school gym, it's just there's more seats here, and it's just a bigger arena. So that's what you have to kind of get through to the young kids is that, it's a pool. You're used to doing this every day.
Right.
Yes, there's better competition once you get to the Olympic Games than probably you've experienced your whole year. And it's very, you're wearing that USA on your back and on your cap. But know that it's the same pool you always swim in.
I love that advice. It's just the title of the meet. Don't let it get in your head.
Exactly.
Don't Olympics get in your head. It's just a swim meet.
small meet,
Yeah, just a little meet. So in a second, we're going to hear from other national team members about the ready room. A little bit different setup at this trials. Do you have any ready room stories that stand out in your mind?
Well, it's funny when I went into the 50 freestyle ready room for the finals in Beijing, everyone was making such a big deal about my age and is she so old? Can she swim this 3 times? And so I walk into that ready room and I'm looking around. I'm like, oh my God, that girl, she's about to throw up. Now I'm in the top 7. I'm like, whoa, there's a girl that she's about to faint. Now I'm in the top 6. And I realized, right, I'm like, wait a minute, I have the experience. I'm just as nervous as they are, but I have the experience going in there that they've never experienced this before. And the other thing is they think this is the most important thing they're ever going to experience in their life. And for me, my daughter, who was 2 at that time, was the most important thing in my life. So I think I had just a different perspective going into that ready room.
That's amazing. Dara, such a pleasure to have
Thank
you
you,
on. I
Caitlin.
feel like we could talk all day.
I know, this is fun.
But
Thank
now
you.
we're going to hear from the other national team members what it's like to be in that ready room. Thanks, Dara.
Yeah.
The Ready Room at Trials is the worst place in the world. It, is full of nerves, adrenaline, emotion.
It's very intense. It's especially in that ready room. It's sort of, every man for themselves.
You go into that atmosphere knowing that just about anybody has a chance to make the team.
It's pretty quiet, especially when it came to the 50 free in London. I don't think anyone said a word.
People are slapping themselves. They're giving each other mean looks. Some are talking obsessively.
You have a ready room that has Elizabeth Beisel or Allison Schmidt in it, and it's gonna be laughing, bubbly, like really joking, and there's other ready rooms where the personalities are a little bit more subdued and a little bit more intense and focused.
I really like to talk a lot before I go to the ready room, but once I go in the ready room, I'm kind of putting my headphones on, do my own thing.
When you have other athletes that are have headphones on, that are just zeroed in, you don't want to touch them or talk to them.
The ready room can either be really fun or really intense.
For me, I'm just nonchalant. I'm like, doo-doo-doo.
That was great. I think the biggest difference that I noticed at the different ready rooms is internationally, it's very quiet. I mean, there's a little bit of a language barrier, obviously, but when you have these ready rooms in the States, like, you know the girls, and even though you're competitors, you get along so also. Believe it or not, I was a little bit of a chatty Cathy in the ready room, but when you get across the sea and you're just, an international competition, it's pretty quiet in that ready room. So a lot of things are different about this meet, like the ready room, along with it's called a clean deck. So if you can see the deck right now, there's coaches on the side, there's a lot of activity on the sidelines. A clean deck at Olympic trials means once the meet begins, the coaches have to go to their seats. So this is extremely different because when you're at a normal swim meet, and you're racing up and down the pool, your coaches are on the side, they're giving you cues, they're giving you these different signals that you have. So at Olympic trials, all you see on the side of the pool deck are the officials. So that is definitely something that's a lot different and something that swimmers have to get used to here at this event. Something that hasn't changed is the presence of Michael Phelps. I got to run into him the other day, and I've known Michael since I was, 17, so in 2000, and I trained with him the last 3 years of my swimming career, so I've known Michael a very long time, and one of the coolest comments that he made to me is, we're catching up, and I said, oh, it's so great to be back. And obviously I'm back behind the camera with a microphone interviewing athletes at finals, and Michael goes, yeah, it's really great to be back. And I just was like, wow, he just seemed so happy, so full of joy, and I legitimately believed him when he said he was just so happy to be here. And I think that in itself will show so much in his swim tonight. So what makes Michael so great? Let's check back in with Russell Mark.
Michael Phelps is going to double up here. Back to back, realizing 50-45. That is the fastest time in the world this year. And look at the reaction.
Michael Phelps, physiologically, it's well documented and well talked about how Michael can train extremely hard. And now that he's older, a dad, things are definitely more focused, and he's done a great job being this, taking care of his body out of the water as well as doing the work in the water.
I think it's still hard for me to believe that Michael Phelps is a dad. Some of the stories that I could share, but he talked about his son so much, and you could see, I feel like the joyfulness that I was talking about with Michael, I think a lot of that is coming from his son, Boomer. So let's check in with Twitter. Thanks to everyone that's been tweeting at us. So we're asking you to use the hashtag DeckPassLive. So let's see what some of our fans had to say. At Rickma, all the way from Indonesia, wow, says Jay Litherland's 400 IM was her favorite race thus far. Sameen says, go Michael Phelps. I think a lot of people are saying go Michael Phelps. Bram is watching from Belgium. Hey, Bram. And Bree and Russ are road tripping from Chicago. Safe travels to you both. See you soon. Now let's check in with my girl, Ariana.
When I said that I was everywhere, I really did mean everywhere. I'm in the Aqua Zone right now signing autographs, and I'm here with Kate and Liliana.
Check out Lane 9 tonight. Is there anything
Heard
after
it from
this?
them.
That's all
We'll see you guys.
You won't want to miss Ari's show tonight. All week long, we invite you to join the conversation by tweeting at us with hashtag DeckPassLive. Share your questions. Who are you cheering on and where are you watching from for us to share live on our show? For all the latest video, news, and photos, visit us at usaswimming.org. Now we leave you with some moments from last night.
The first time I started thinking about the Olympics, I was 16. It was right after junior nationals. I'd just broken a minute. I won. I think that was the time where I really realized that I could hang with the people who had been beating me, who had made the Olympic team. So that was I guess that first moment of self-belief for me.
Being in that final heat, I mean, I've been watching Natalie swim my entire life. For as long as I can remember, just looking up to her. She's been my #1 idol. I've always wanted to be like her. I remember watching her at the 2008 Olympics and how incredibly successful she was there. It was an honor to be in that heat with Natalie and Missy and to race them, and just having them having to swim against Olympians was definitely a huge motivation, and it's been my dream to be right here to be an Olympian. So I'm just really excited about that.
No, I didn't know until I looked up, and then even still, I was kind of still in shock, I guess. I think I'm still a little in shock, but no, I didn't know until I looked up and saw it.
The U.S. has won the 100 backstroke 5 straight Olympics with Rouse, Kraselberg, Pearsall, and Grievers. What does that mean to you to be going in and defending such a legacy?
You know, it's huge. I mean, that's something I've said a lot tonight is, you know, ever since I started swimming, it's been a dream of mine to go to the Olympics. And, you know, when I think of Olympics, I think of those guys. You know, I was always a backstroker growing up, so that was the event I always got super excited to watch for the Olympics. And, you know, I can't really remember 2000, so I can't really remember like the Kraselberg days, but definitely Aaron Pearsall was, he was one of the guys for me, and one of the guys I tried to model my swimming after.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great feeling. I just kind of felt that I was going to win tonight, and it happened, so I'm really excited with the time and to be an Olympian, and that's so cool to say right now. But yeah, I'm super excited to be representing Team USA in Rio.